WWE Elimination Chamber 2023, the review for you now here on SCW. Thank you for checking this out. It is 4:35 a.m. at the time I am recording this. I had to watch this show live. Roman Reigns, of course, retaining the undisputed WWE Universal Championship against Sami Zayn. What a great match it was. Really enjoyed this. I love the storytelling from start to finish. I love the boos that were going out for Roman, the FU Romans as well. Sami, of course, getting that big cheer. Of course, his entrance music as well was beautiful to see. From early doors, we saw that Sami Zayn's wife was at ringside. That played nice into the story. Of course, Roman getting that revenge. Obviously, his family being torn apart, wanting to give that as well there to Sami Zayn's family. But of course, Sami did find his way back into the match. Sunset flip powerbomb was the first real near fall we got. We got quite a few magical near falls there. Haluva kicks being hit. Obviously, Roman missing a spear going through the barricade as well. There's some many great spots there. But of course, there was a couple of ref bumps as expected, was predicted on the prediction stream that we would get that. Of course, Jimmy Uso was the one that came out to defend Roman Reigns. Nothing to do with Jey Uso to start off with. Of course, there were super kicks and there was a splash. We thought it'd be a 1, 2, 3, but it was a kick out once again. Sami Zayn also kicking out of a spear, by the way. That was really getting the crowd into it at that point. But of course, another ref was taken out once again. Roman Reigns got himself a steel chair via the help of Paul Heyman. This is when Jey Uso entered the match. And of course, very similar to the Royal Rumble. Of course, Roman going to use that chair on Sami Zayn. But of course, in the end, he turned to Jey Uso and said, well, no, you do it because, well, you're the one that seems like you're still on the side of Sami Zayn. You're either picking him or you're picking me. It's been a lot of verbal stuff with Roman throughout the match. Of course, there was times he even said to Sami and his wife, he didn't want to do it. He was trying to help him, stuff like that. But if he can't help him, he's going to get rid of him for good. And he wants to know with Jey Uso, is he on side or not? Jey Uso going behind Roman, looking like would he hit the tribal chief with the chair? That was a very interesting moment. Roman turning around, pushing Jey Uso in the face a couple of times, and then Sami Zayn looking to hit a spear on Roman, misses Roman, and hits Jey Uso. Could that be a key ingredient going into TV next couple of weeks on SmackDown now going towards WrestleMania? And of course, after that, Roman did manage to hit his spear one more time and did manage to get the pin for victory. 1, 2, 3. And of course, Jimmy Uso after that hitting Sami Zayn looked like they were going to try and take him out, just like it was done at the Royal Rumble. And of course, at that point, Kevin Owens comes in to make the save. There were stunners. Jimmy Uso also put through a table. Roman had also been stunned as well. There was a moment where Kevin Owens was staring down Roman Reigns, looking to want to get that revenge. Looked at Sami Zayn rather than actually sort of at that point, I'm here to help Sami Zayn. I thought this was key to the story. Instead of actually where he should have probably come out early if he was there for this section of Sami Zayn, he did what he thought was right in the end. Sami helped him from that point onwards. It got to a brutal beatdown for KO at the Rumble. It wasn't just simply Sami Zayn helped him from the start. So KO kind of felt there was a bit of confliction with him also, but he thought it was the right thing to do in the end to get there and help Sami Zayn not to be taken out like that, but knew to get out of the way because Sami wanted to get that final haluva kick in to end off the show. And of course, there was no handshakes, hugs, anything like that from Sami and KO. We're still going to build to that story, but looks of things going towards WrestleMania. The ingredients fit perfectly for me. Of course, sadly, yeah, Roman goes off to do his program with Cody Rhodes. Let's be fair here. That's going to be an awesome program from what we've seen at the start so far. But Sami and KO, the team will come together. I do think Jey Uso now will turn on Sami Zayn because that now has started that. Even though it was an accident, it's almost like, well, I didn't do it to you, but you did it to me. It will lead to the Usos versus KO and Sami Zayn. Just quickly, just to say hello to Robbie Collins. Says, yo, Steve, what a pay-per-view. Starting off slow, but the main event was class. I've got to say the main event was absolutely superb. And like I said, I've not wasted any time there coming in here and saying, let's get and talk about Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns. It was an awesome start to the show. Robbie, good to see you're still up, by the way. Like me, it's very, very late, but fair play to you for still being up and still going as well and checking out this stream. C Nation Dog in the House, thank you, C Nation, for checking this out. This is my bold prediction. Almost came true. We'll be talking about that men's elimination chamber very shortly. Since he feel bad for Seth freaking Rollins. He usually loses most of his matches. If he loses WrestleMania, then he will be super mad. I'll be talking more about that very shortly. I'll give an early prediction if I think Rollins or Logan Paul will be winning at WrestleMania. But just to quickly conclude then, because I'm just to say, I'm planning this not to be a super long stream. But I thought the main event was absolute genius. There are very few shows where you can really feel that energy. Montreal was an amazing crowd. I think back to Money in the Bank 2011 with CM Punk, John Cena. I think back to the ECW arena with RVD against John Cena back then as well. Hostile crowds, of course, as close as that was probably Clash of the Castle last year for Drew McIntyre against Roman. 60,000 on the side of Drew McIntyre. That was an amazing feeling and great to see at that point. But this Montreal crowd, wow, it felt like there were 60,000 watching it. Fair play to them. They were an incredible crowd all night long, and they added an extra layer to this match. For me, easily the match of the night, best story of the night. It told everything that it needed to do. But there were four other fantastic matches, or four other matches on the show. I think a couple of them were fantastic. One was not fantastic, in my opinion, but we're going to get to that very shortly. We'll start, though, with the Women's Elimination Chamber match, because that was the match that kicked off the show. Asuka, of course, prevailing in the end there, becoming the number one contender, second Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, a match that I think is going to be fantastic to see. Asuka, after all, has been repackaged. The face paint, she looks refreshed. She looks ready to go. For me, she looks like that she could turn at any way at a moment's notice. She turned on the teammates on Monday Night Raw. Here, she was dominant once again. It feels like we got the Asuka of old, if we're being honest at this point. I really do feel with Asuka that she potentially could be the one that could take down Bianca Belair. But you look to the start of the match, it started with Natalya and Liv Morgan. I like the fact that we have Natalya in there at the start because you've got that Canadian big pop to begin things off. Liv Morgan, of course, yep, they mentioned about the Royal Rumble, have to go bell to bell, saying that again. Early chemistry was good between these ladies. Of course, Raquel Rodriguez came in as well. Some great spots early doors. I liked Raquel Rodriguez, almost had Natalya on her sort of back with the legs up there, and then or vice versa, Liv Morgan coming off there for the crossbody, and it turned then when it was done into a sunset flip where Raquel went into the cage. That was a really fun looking spot. Nikki Cross character work in that pod was superb, wasn't it? Let's be fair. She was absolutely crazy, as crazy Nikki should be. When she came to the match at number 4, she jumped off the top of the pod, which was an insane crossbody. She ended up going through the pod as well via Raquel Rodriguez. Of course, Carmella was already in the match at this point as well, but that led to the pinfall of Nikki Cross being taken out of the match. Asuka coming in, going straight after Carmella, who had been taunting Asuka for the whole match. Why Carmella would do such a thing? It didn't seem like a clever move, if you ask me. But like I say, some great spots that weren't done in this match. Particularly, I mentioned going through the pod was a fun one. The sunset flip powerbomb from where Liv Morgan jumped off the top of the pod, that was an insane looking spot as well. Really enjoyed that. There's just some great chemistry all through this. But I thought everyone was actually done with a big dignity in this match. Everyone, and character-wise, looked better coming out of it. Liv Morgan, once again, she didn't tap out. She passed out to 2 submission holds at the same time with Asuka and Natalya, the sharpshooter, and Asuka's new sort of lock that she sort of got in at the moment. I thought that was really well done. I thought Liv Morgan was one of the MVPs of this match up to that point when she was eliminated. And to be honest, when you go to the rest of it, Raquel Rodriguez, she sort of suffered fate, didn't she, with the kicks that she got, multiple super kicks from Carmella and Asuka. That took her out of the match. Natalya, I think was, I actually forget how Natalya was taken. It was Carmella, wasn't it? Simple super kick herself there to take Natalya out of the match. We were left with Carmella and Asuka, and let's be fair, it was never in doubt, was it? Of course, Asuka picking up the victory. I do think Asuka will turn heel in between now and WrestleMania if she hasn't already. Like I say, she's so unpredictable and it's so fun to see. And I think her and Bianca, it's going to be a mega match for me. Really enjoyed this. Was a hot opener. And I've got to say, even though I thought the match was predictable going in, certainly a lot of layers and elements, I liked the little bit of recognition as well between Liv and Raquel before the match started. I do believe that there will be a team. I don't think it'll be just Ronda and Shayna going for damage control. I can see Liv and Raquel also being a part of that match at WrestleMania for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Quickly, I'll jump into the comments. If you have comments, feel free to get involved. C Nation, you're keeping me busy, which is great to see. He's gone on to say here that this was his first comment actually that came in. New ones are coming all the time. How many times will it be a ref bump in my matches, Roman? Yes, there's quite a few. There was 2 tonight, but you know what? It played lovely with the drama for me. I really enjoyed this match. My favorite match of the night, as I said already, Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn was absolutely beautiful. It was a genius match the way they put it together. Sami Zayn can say that he pinned Roman Reigns, even if it's unofficial. Absolutely. That moment hit the haluva kick that time, and Roman was out on the wrestler out. It was hit so sweetly, so beautiful. It was like you could just see it was the perfect spot. It was the perfect moment. If a ref was there, the free count was coming. But sadly, there was no referee around. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, a lot of people tonight are probably going to be disappointed that Sami Zayn is not your champion. Look, I'll be honest, I'll be one of them. I wanted Sami Zayn to be that guy at one point. Now the story is directing for Cody and Roman. We felt it since the Rumble. This does feel like the right move. And I've got to say, I think WWE has booked this extremely well. Going on to your next comment then, I guess it will be Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley. Well, let's talk about that, shall we? Because this is the match that I thought was not very good. Let's be fair. We've had 3 matches of Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, and none of them have finished cleanly ever, which just is a very disappointing when you think about it. Look, let's be fair. It was the usual spears, F5s, suplexes, and of course the hurt lock being put in. It's just the same moves over and over again. It's fine. Big men throwing each other around. I'm usually down for that match, but here we needed something conclusive if we're going to do it again. Or maybe we won't do it again. I don't know if we are doing it again or not. All we know is we've got the low blow, and that's meant to be the babyface Brock Lesnar doing it as well to heal Bobby Lashley. For me, that just was an ingredient that didn't make sense. And when you mentioned there about Bray Wyatt making the call out this past Friday on SmackDown, for me, I'm a bit lost on story-wise where this is meant to be going, because if Bray had not said that, I'd say, okay, simple. We're redoing this at Mania. There'll be a stipulation. There'll be no DQ, no outside interference. We'll get this sorted once and for all. Fight pit match, Lions Den. I can dream. We'd get it done that way. But now Bray has inserted himself that way. Is it going to be Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley? Lashley technically won the match. Is it going to be the White Six versus the Hurt Business, or simply Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley? We'll have to wait and see. The ending was good. I'm guessing you're referring that to the main event match there for us, but we'll move on in the meantime. Keep comments coming in, but I'm going to make sure I get my review part done quickly, so then we can just go to comments, and then we can wrap things up sort of the 25-minute mark at the most. But next was Edge and Beth Phoenix against Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor. I thought this was a solid match as well. Really enjoyable. I love the crowd as well. Energy and Dominic Mysterio. Goodness, was he getting a lot of heat from the crowd, and not really not deserving it, but not really doing a lot of the start of the match. As the match wore on, he definitely got himself heavily involved. Love the fact of the interactions with Rhea Ripley and Beth Phoenix. Thought the superplex was a really fun spot. Really fun to see them interact in the match in general. I do feel it's a bit of a dream match. I hope one day they get to do a one-on-one encounter. I got to say as well, for the females, they were dominating this match. I thought they were the MVPs, let's be fair. I mean, I love the spot, by the way, with the power bombs where Beth and Rhea were power bombing the men. I thought that was a really, really cool spot. The only spot that I thought let down in the match for me was there was a clear moment where brass knuckles were put in. Rhea Ripley used them on Edge, and it looked like it was a clear 3 count. The ref's hand had come down, but he chose not to put it down. Edge hadn't put his shoulder up in time. Beth didn't make the save in time. So there was a little bit of miscommunication there, but it's a minor critique. I'll let it go. And as well, the replay from Extreme Rules with the attempt of getting it to say I quit while Beth was on the floor and Rhea was with the chair. I mean, Rhea would have got DQ'd, wouldn't she, at the same time, even if Edge said I quit. So it seemed that those were the minor 1 or 2 bits, but I get for storytelling, it still was fine. I love the finish as well. Made sense for me that Edge was the one to Finn Balor, because that way you protect Rhea Ripley. Some would say that she should have won in this match to keep her looking strong going forward to WrestleMania, but now she can sort of take herself out of this program. She can focus on Charlotte Flair. She wasn't involved in the fall. She still looks strong. Like I say, she dominated Edge as well in the match, so she still looks pretty darn good. And Finn Balor saying, I hate you, I'm going to get back at you for this. I think we're going to get Edge versus Finn Balor at WrestleMania inside Hell in a Cell, and dare I say it, we may even get a demon / Finn Balor in the style of Judgment Day. I think it'll be different to what we've seen before, but a demon style Finn Balor in Hell in a Cell, I'm pretty down for that. So yeah, I think for me, again, I like the direction of where we are going. Now, as it's been mentioned already about Logan Paul getting in with Seth Rollins, let's talk about it. Then I've wrapped up kind of all the matches, which is pretty nice to see. But just before I do, how cool is it? We got our first WrestleMania adverts, by the way. Seth freaking Rollins as the Joker. Loving that. Whoever did that deserves a raise. I'm going to say it very quickly. A genius comparison to put them two together. Becky Lynch, of course, doing the portrayal of Batman as well. Towards the end of the show, there seems to be a little sort of clips of all of the movies, what we're going to see over the next few weeks in WWE. Really looking forward to seeing them, how they're going to play out as well. If they're as good as what I've seen tonight, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a fun road to WrestleMania, seeing those, especially for those who remember WrestleMania 21 as well. But as for that, then the men's Elimination Chamber match started so sweetly, just as I hoped it would. Johnny Gargano going against Seth freaking Rollins, a great way to start it. Let's be fair, that wasn't long enough, was it? We need a 20-minute match between these two at some point further down the line. I'm pretty sure they can tell a good story. Just have a great in-ring match, I'm pretty sure of it. And Austin Theory was the perfect person to come in at number 3. As it was said on commentary, Austin Theory has history of both, being a part of the Way and being a part of the Messiah's Seth Rollins stable, of course, back in the pandemic. Hands up if any of you forgot about that at any point. I know I almost did. So, yeah, I'm glad the commentary brought it up. It was quite fun to see them all interact. Damian Priest coming in as well. And, of course, then it was Bronson Reed, then it was Montez Ford. Man, there were some more crazy spots in this match again. I mean, obviously, when you think of the Hurricane Runner from Johnny Gargano from the top of the pod to Seth Rollins, who landed, I think, was on Austin Theory. Thankfully, Damian Priest caught Johnny Gargano. That could have been quite a scary looking spot. I mean, there were just some mad moves in this match. I felt like the interactions as well with Rollins and Priest, that particularly stood out for me in this match. There's another insane spot that I'm trying to think of. Montez Ford, my goodness, almost went and spoke in Swedish there. Min Gud, at the top of the cell there, literally, where he was hanging off the top, flying himself around to land on everybody. Chef's kiss. That is a beautiful spot in the chamber. One of my favorite chamber spots I think I've ever seen. Montez Ford looked strong in this match, looked really, really good in this match. Got 2 pinfalls as well. Bronson Reed was the first one. Of course, he suffered 3 finisher moves from Johnny Gargano and from Seth Rollins as well. Johnny Gargano was the next out of the ring. Gonna have to forgive me. It's 4:51 in the morning. My exact memory of how that happened is gone. If you could remind me in the comments, I'll be grateful. But yeah, Damian Priest was next to follow, which left us with the final 3. And of course, Montez Ford at that point took a curb stomp from which was on the outside of the ring, hit his head there on the canvas. It looked like he suffered a concussion, which is awful to see, but he was pinned, taken out of the match. It's great to see that the crowd were really cheering Montez Ford on. I thought that was really tasteful from the crowd and shows to give that support as well, because the guy had a heck of a performance, a breakout solo performance as well. Love that commentary, put Montez Ford over as well. Thought it was brilliant. So, yeah, for me, ticked a lot of boxes. Hope he's healthy. Hope he'll be well. And if there is any problems, I hope that he's not on the shelf for too long. I'd love to see if he could make it back in time for WrestleMania. But, of course, health must come first. But just when we thought we got the final 2 of Austin Theory and Seth freaking Rollins, just as I said it in the predictions video, I'm very pleased that it did come through. Logan Paul found a way into the cage and, of course, I didn't predict this part, doing a buckshot lariat on Seth Rollins and just for good measure, hitting a curb stomp afterwards. And then, of course, Austin Theory hitting his finisher for the victory and retaining the US Championship. And again, a fantastic chamber match. Thought it was really, really good. Both chamber matches for me were absolutely solid. I think both of them at least 3.5 stars. If I had to give a very early star rating for you there. For the main event, I'm going to give that a 4.5. I thought it was a fantastic main event. Really enjoyed it. Bobby and Brock for me, that 1.5. I mean, we've seen the same thing all the way through. For me, it's been and done. If they're going to do it again, they've got to do a proper definitive finish, and that's it for me. I don't need to see that style of match with them two anymore. But last off, of course, the mixed tag team match, definitely a 3.5 or 3.25. Really good match as well. So solid show overall. Solid 3.5 for me out of 5. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Just saying, I didn't mention this earlier on, but yeah, Kevin Owens attacking Paul Heyman, or Heyman attacking Kevin Owens, was funny. Both ways round was great. Heyman, just the way he sort of fell backwards after the stunner as well in that slow motion, was just beautiful all round. And anything that involves Paul Heyman, I'm a bit biased anyway. I am a Paul Heyman guy. West Coast Podcast in the house. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for checking out the stream. Says this goes along with the rumors. Theory for the vignettes with he won We Won't Speak Of whilst holding the US title. Interesting. Was not aware of this stuff, but of course it does go along with it then, doesn't it? But I wasn't even aware of those rumors, so do thank you for bringing those to my attention. We've got a couple more comments that have come in from C Nation saying that I thought that the Usos were not allowed in Canada. Traditionally, no, but this isn't the first time this has happened. I do feel the last time they were in Canada, I feel at least Jey Uso was there. even if it was backstage or something like that. So it's not the first time. Maybe it was day passes, but WWE obviously have worked their magic to get them there. We're all sort of aware of it at this point as well. So the fact they played it into story just made it work even better. Because if you go, oh, how clever, we've ripped them out of storyline, they're not going to be around, and then all of a sudden they turn up. I thought it was really well put together, but it did come out in the rumor mill that they would be there. So we'll have to wait and see how it will go going forward, because the storylines was great. C Nation then says, I still think Seth Rollins will be the next United States champion. I think it'll be the Raw after Mania. It's certainly a possibility. They may revisit this somewhere down the line. To be fair, they've not really touched on the fact that Rollins and Theory, were a part of this stable before. So if they were to actually bring that into a story, then it could make sense to continue it. But I have seen enough Theory Seth Rollins matches for myself personally for the current present time. But C Nation saying it's 4 a.m. in the morning. No, in fact, it's 4:55 a.m. for me. It's nearly 5 a.m. for me at this point now. But it's only 10 p.m. for you. Yeah, I did stay up very late for this show. And I can promise you all, I'm going to regret this when I wake up tomorrow. So if you can all do me a massive favor, if you've enjoyed this video, if you've watched it to this point, I appreciate you all. Please hit that like button. If you're new, please subscribe to the channel. If you are watching on delay, or if you haven't left a comment here now, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you thought of Elimination Chamber 2023. Like I say, overall, I think this was a really solid show. It ticked a lot of boxes. For me personally, I thought this was worth staying up for, which I think is an extra bonus. If you're going to stay up late to watch one of these shows, it might as well be a good show. And I think that this, for me, I won't put it down and say this is a great show, but I think it was a good show. I think that 4 out of the 5 matches delivered, and particularly the main event, was everything that we hoped for. I wouldn't say hope for more. I think if we got the shock with Sami Zayn actually winning, then it would have been and more, because we would have got a special moment like an Eddie Guerrero winning against Brock Lesnar, like at No Way Out 2004, or when RVD beat Cena, of course, at One Night Stand, that sort of vibes. But it wasn't to be. We always knew Roman was going to win, but still, I think they delivered a great time, a great match. And overall, I thought this was a very good show. To get, like I said, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 overall, which I think that works out probably about a 7 out of 10, which probably seems a bit unfair when you put it on 10s. Let's go for an 8 out of 10, be a bit more generous. But C Nation, thank you for saying great stream. Thank you everyone for watching this as well. Look after yourselves and each other. I really do appreciate you checking it out. And check out some more videos in the meantime. And of course, if you are new here, just to let you know, WrestleMania is the next pick stop. So you know what that means. There's going to be plenty of videos between now and WrestleMania. So keep an eye on this channel. And a lot of them will be live as well. So a lot of excuses to get yourselves interacting, being a part of this channel. And I can promise you the next time you see me, I'll be definitely a lot more awake. A UK viewer watching till 5 a.m., streaming till 5 a.m. God bless you. Take care. Good night. And thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.